Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at a deck that revolves around our Sharpedo EX. We're going to be using his Jagged Fang attack as our main sort of attack. So pretty much by using this attack, we discard an energy attached to our opponent's active Pokemon and an energy from our Sharpedo EX as well. A bit of a double-edged sword, but we are going to try and compensate for that. So how we're actually going to go about compensating for this guys is we're going to run the Yveltal with his Oblivion Wing attack. We can go right ahead and look for a Darkness Energy from our discard pile and attach them to any of our bench Pokemon. Again, Yveltal not really going to be the main energy retriever type Pokemon in our deck. He's mainly going to be sort of an anti-safeguard Pokemon and just another solid 130 HP Pokemon that we will be using in case we don't actually get our evolution line set up. So we're actually going to be focusing on using the Hydreigon with the Dark Impulse ability to look at our discard pile for a Darkness Energy and attach them to any of our bench Pokemon. Hydreigon, very nice Pokemon that has a lot of synergy with our Sharpedo EX. I mean, because we are going to be repeatedly giving up a Darkness Energy through using our Sharpedo EX's attack. Hydreigon will be able to go right ahead and look for that Darkness Energy from our discard pile and then attach it to our Sharpedo EX. So essentially, the main idea of the deck, guys, revolves around us repeatedly discarding our opponent's energy card. So how we're actually going to go about doing that is by repeatedly using our Sharpedo EX's attacks. We're also going to be using, of course, the Crushing Hammer. So hopefully with this card we'll be able to get rid of some of our opponent's basic energies. And of course we're also going to be running two enhanced hammers. This is just to get rid of our opponent's special energies. Pretty much all decks that we are going to encounter, I mean the vast majority of decks at least, do tend to run some sort of special energy. So enhanced hammer does come in handy with respects to that. The last Pokemon that we are running as well, guys, is a single Darkrai EX. Darkrai EX is simply going to be used for his Dark Cloak ability. He is going to allow us for those free retreats, which is nice, especially when we do want to switch around between our Pokemon. Now, the reason we're only running a single copy is that eventually we'll probably reach a point into the game where Darkrai EX won't be all that necessary in case he does happen to be prized. For example, in that by using our Hydreigon's ability over and over again, we can easily just pay whatever retreat cost that our Pokemon takes to switch between our Pokemon. So we are still going to run a Darkrai EX, just a very useful and nice Pokemon. But he may not actually be as crucial of a Pokemon as he would be in say an Yveltal EX type deck, for example. Some of the item cards that we are running, guys, is we're going to be running a Dowsing Machine as our spec card. Again, as you guys can see, we do have a high reliance on our item type cards, namely speaking our hammers, because we want to repeatedly discard energy cards attached to our opponent's Pokemon. So Dowsing Machine is going to come in handy and allowing us to reuse those sorts of item cards. We're also going to be running a lot of cards that you guys have seen before, so I'll very briefly be going over them. Escape Rope, just to allow us to switch in between our Pokemon. Of course, the reason that we're actually not running Switch is because we do have the Darkrai EX, which pretty much can act as a switch for us. Escape Rope will allow us to at least switch our Pokemon, and our opponent is forced to switch his Pokemon with one of his bench Pokemon as well. So Escape Rope is a nice card, so we are ultimately running a single copy of that. We're also going to be running 3 rare candies, of course, because we want to evolve our Deino into the Hydreigon by skipping the Zweilous step if possible. I mean, of course, if we are running certain types of decks, such as Trevenant decks or Seismitoad EX decks, we may not be able to use our rare candy, so ultimately we are running a single Zweilous. We're also going to be running a single Startling Megaphone. Again, in case we do come across a Garbodor type matchup, we have a relatively high dependence on our Pokemon's abilities. Again, Garbodor, I've actually been starting to see him being used a little bit more than usual, so we may actually have to up the count of Startling Megaphones too, but I don't think I've seen enough to actually merit us running an extra copy, so we're going to stick with just a single copy of Startling Megaphone right now. Of course, we could always use the Dowsing Machine as well to grab out our Startling Megaphone and use it a second time in case that Garbodor is giving us a lot of trouble. But for now, I think a single Startling Megaphone should be more than enough. Some other cards that we are running, guys, that you guys know all about. So we're going to be running ultimately 3 Ultra Balls, 2 VS Seekers, 2 Colress, 2 Lysandres, 4 Ends, 4 Junipers, 2 Skylas, and a single teammate. We're also going to be running 3 Muscle Bands and a total of 12 Darkness Energies. So that is our basic deck breakdown, guys. Let's go and actually see this deck in action. Um, I mean, this deck takes a little bit of setup to actually get going, but once it does, it's actually a very, very powerful deck, guys. I have been enjoying using it. I feel like it still does need a little bit of tweaking, though. Because I feel like the just getting the whole Hydreigon line set up can take a little bit of time. For example, and our Sharpedo EX's attack is somewhat energetically expensive. And okay, it looks like we are going to start off with an Yveltal and a Darkrai EX. So I'm going to actually lay down our Yveltal as our starting Pokemon and our and our Darkrai EX into our bench for the time being. Probably going to use the Skyla to actually look for an Ultra Ball. And okay, looks like we do have a fan. Um, and thank you very much. Do appreciate your support, and hopefully he can actually start getting his deck going and just laying down his Pokemon. Not actually sure what our opponent is actually running. I believe I saw Thunder type, Water type, and I believe it was a colorless type. So I'm assuming our opponent's deck. Of course, we did see the Mega Manectric EX as well. So our opponent's deck definitely does have the Mega Manectric EX. I'm assuming he's probably going to run a Primal Kyogre Mega Manectric EX type deck. Just thinking, guys, not really sure. So let's actually go and use our Skyla to look for the Deino, and hopefully we can evolve him into our Hydreigon from our next turn. So let's go and use the Ultra Ball to discard our N, and we're also going to give up one of our Darkness energies to grab out a Deino and then lay him down into our bench, attach a Darkness energy to our Yveltal, and with that we are going to go and end our turn. And just letting our opponent know that he is being recorded. May so we'll see how things do go. Our opponent is running a Manectric EX, Mega Manectric EX type deck though, so things are not exactly in our favor in that we do have the weakness. So our opponent is going to be able to hit us for twice the damage, and it looks like our opponent is actually going to use the N. So unfortunately, we no longer have the rare candy in our hand anymore, and he's going to go and head ring our Darkrai EX. But that's okay. We're not. I mean, Darkrai EX isn't exactly an attacker. So our opponent is actually going to grab out a Seismitoad EX deck as well. Hopefully we can evolve our Deino into the Hydreigon nice and early. But again, we do have the disadvantage against our opponent. So let's actually go and attach the Muscle Band to... actually, no, Muscle Band would not actually be a smart attachment to our Yveltal. So let's go and use the Crushing Hammer. And it looks like we are going to go and flip a Tails. And okay, so I'm actually going to go and attach a Darkness Energy to our Darkrai EX for the time being, and then we will be using the N for some new cards at hand. And okay, so unfortunately, looks like we haven't been really able to get anything good. I mean, our opponent is going to knock out our Yveltal on his turn though, but we will be able to use the teammates to actually grab out our rare candy and possibly a Sharpedo EX or something like that, so that we can actually evolve our Deino. Hopefully our opponent's Seismitoad EX actually does not attack our does not actually item lock us. Not something that I really want to. And thank you very much for the compliments. And let's just see what our opponent is actually going to do from here on out. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see that Yveltal get knocked out. Hopefully, our opponent doesn't actually... Okay, so it looks like he has attaching another energy to his Manectric EX, which is definitely quite nice. We do have the weakness advantage though, so I do want to get rid of our opponent's Manectric EX before he does become a more troubling Pokemon. So let's see what our opponent actually does. He may potentially evolve his Manectric EX into the Mega Manectric EX if he does happen to have one in his hand. It looks like that's not actually the case. So let's go and actually bring out our Darkrai EX. We will be using our teammates though to look for a rare candy. And okay, so we do have a Sharpedo EX, quite nice. So let's go and use the teammates card and look for a rare candy. And what other card could I potentially look for? Um, that would that would be helpful. Just trying to see what the sort of best card would be that we can actually grab out. I could grab out the Lysandre Escape Rope. Just trying to think, guys. Sorry. Again, not really sure what we should actually grab out. I think Crushing Hammer is probably the card that I am going to go with. So let's go and evolve our Deino into the Hydreigon, attach the Darkness Energy to our Darkrai EX. Unfortunately, our Darkrai EX actually cannot attack right now. Do I actually have any Yeah, sorry, I do actually have the Darkness Energy in our discard pile. Completely forgot about that. So let's go and use the Dark Impulse ability to attach a Darkness Energy to our Darkrai EX. Use the Crushing Hammer, and unfortunately we are going to go and get a Tails. Let's use the Night Spear attack, hit our opponent's Manectric EX for 90 damage, and hit that Seismitoad EX for another 30 damage. So luckily for us, at least our opponent's Manectric EX would not be able to knock out our Darkrai EX, so I will probably be using our Lysandre to grab out one of our opponent's bench Pokemon and then slowly snipe away our opponent's Manectric EX from the bench. So let's see what our opponent's actually grabbing. Could potentially be grabbing the Mega Manectric EX, something like that. Again, I'm not really sure what our opponent's deck seems to really be revolving around. I mean, we don't really see a lot of Manectric decks paired up with the Seismitoad EX. So we'll see how things go from here on out. Again, the fact that we do have that lightning weakness it makes things that much more difficult for us. Looks like our opponent is going to use the Endo, and we are actually going to get another Yveltal. So let's see, so our opponent is going to hit us for a massive 140 damage. I will be grabbing out our opponent's Seismitoad EX though, so let's actually go. Oh no, I forgot, I actually don't have the Lysandre at our discard pile anymore. Okay, so let's go and actually bring out our Yveltal, attach the Darkness Energy to him in combination with a Muscle Band. We will be retreating our Darkrai EX. Let's go and get rid of our opponent's tool type attachments, retreat our Darkrai EX, and bring out our Yveltal. Unfortunately, we don't actually have any Darkness Energies in our discard pile, so our Sharpedo EX is going to have to wait a little bit before we can actually get the energy attachments going to him. Let's go and look for two of our prize cards, and it looks like we're getting another Sharpedo EX and some sorry, was it a I believe it was the Juniper as well. Sorry guys, I did just sneeze, not sure if it was actually heard through the mic, but okay, so it looks like our opponent okay, so he's actually going to remove the double colors energy from his Seismitoad EX. I'm assuming he's probably going to attach another energy to his Manectric EX and knock out our Yveltal EX. I mean, because we do have the energy attachment, and of course, unfortunately, we also do happen to have the weakness. Our deck may just merit us having to run the Shadow Circle Stadium card. Not sure if it is worthwhile running. I mean, our deck is a relative tight fit. Yeah, it looks like our opponent is going to try and knock out our Yveltal EX. So I will be bringing out our Darkrai EX temporarily into the field, and I'm just going to see what we should actually grab out, guys. We do have the teammates card as well, which I could absolutely use. So let's actually go and bring out our Darkrai EX for the time being. We do have a Sharpedo EX as well. And okay, so let's go and actually attach a Darkness Energy to our Sharpedo EX. And let's go and use the VS Seeker for a teammates and look for any two cards that we actually think is going to come in handy with respects to our deck. So okay, so we do have the Crushing Hammers. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to grab out a Crushing Hammer, and we will be using actually our Hunt attack to lure out one of our opponent's bench Pokemon until we can at least temporarily get some better cards and hopefully get rid of these Manectric EXs. So just trying to think what our second card should actually be, guys. I think the Muscle Band is a relatively solid choice just so we can dish out a little bit of extra damage. So let's go and retreat our Darkrai EX, bring out our Sharpedo EX. We don't want to get the Head Ringer attached to our Sharpedo EX as well. So let's go and use the Dark Impulse ability. Look for a Darkness Energy and attach it to our Sharpedo EX. We're going to go and use a Muscle Band attachment to him as well. Let's use the Crushing Hammer. Unfortunately, we are going to flip a Tails, but that's okay. Let's use the Hunt to grab out that Seismitoad EX. Does have a massive three energy retreat cost. So hopefully we can sort of target our opponent's other Pokemon while those Manectric EXs are still able to dish out a whole lot of damage to us. Unfortunately, our opponent does have the Float Stone, and he will be able to retreat his Seismitoad EX, bring out that Manectric EX as well. So things are looking like a very bad situation for us right now. Not really sure if we can still make a comeback. A Lysandre or something like that would absolutely be devastating to us. So let's actually go and bring out our Darkrai EX for the time being. I will be laying down our Deino, and let's use the Juniper. Hope that we do get something useful. And okay, so our opponent is saying GG, so I'm assuming he has actually won. So let's actually go retreat our Sharpedo EX to, our Darkrai EX to bring out our Hydreigon. I'm going to go and attach the Darkest Energy to our Sharpedo EX, and unfortunately, we have to go and end our turn. And let's see what our opponent does. If he does happen to have the Lysandre, unfortunately we will be losing. So hopefully our our Darkrai EX could potentially do a lot of damage as well. Our opponent is going to attach the double colorless energy to his Mewtwo EX. Not okay, so it looks like we're not actually going to be losing this turn exactly. So just thinking what we should do, guys. I mean, I do want to start attacking our opponent's Pokemon. We do have a another Deino. And okay, so I could absolutely bring out our Sharpedo EX, and we do have a Darkness Energy, two of them actually in our discard pile, so we could lure out one of our opponent's Pokemon. So let's go and do we have an N as well? Actually, yes, we do have an N, so I will absolutely be doing that. So let's go and okay, so I will actually have to retreat our Hydreigon. Okay, so let's go and lure out our opponent's Mewtwo EX, I think, or just thinking, guys. I do have a escape rope as well, but okay. So let's actually go and lure out our opponent's Mewtwo EX. I'm going to use the Dark Impulse to look for a Darkness Energy and attach them to our Hydreigon, and then we will be retreating our Hydreigon for the time being to bring out our Zweilous, and then we're going to go and attach a Darkness Energy to our Sharpedo EX, and then we have to go and end our turn. Um, I mean, this is I mean, this is one of the first times that I am testing this deck, guys. So so we'll see how things go. Haven't really been playing with this deck a lot. Again, not. I mean, I would say it's still too early for our opponent to declare the victory. I mean, unless he actually does happen to be able to Lysander out one of our Darkrai EXs or something like that. We may just stand a chance yet. So I'm not really sure how things are going to go from here on out. So let's go and actually use the Dark Impulse ability to look for a Darkness Energy. So we could retreat our Zweilous as well if necessary. And if I were to use the Dowsing Machine, I could actually get rid of our opponent's double colorless energy, which I think is what I'm actually going to go to. I'm actually going to go and do. So let's go and get rid of that rare candy and the sorry, the I forgot what other card I actually discarded. Sorry. So let's go and grab out. Sorry, it was the Juniper, right? And grab out the enhanced hammer. Let's get rid of that double colors energy, and then we're going to go and actually use the Colress. I'm sorry, we're actually going to go and grab out an N. I think would be the better sort of option for now, and hope that we get a darkness energy. Okay, so we're not actually going to get a darkness energy or anything like that. And our Sharpedo EX is still unable to attack right now, so unfortunately we do have to end our turn. Just hoping that we can still make a comeback. And our opponent does have the Juniper. I'm probably going to be using the N again on our next turn. We don't actually have any more Darkness Energies in our discard pile, though. Hopefully our Zweilous is able to survive the attack, and our opponent doesn't have any more double colorless energies or anything like that. Looks like he is going to use the computer search. And if he does happen to grab out a Lysander or something like that, or possibly the VS Seeker, I'm absolutely going to be using the N on our turn. So just seeing what our opponent is actually grabbing out. Again, a very, very tight game right now. Unfortunately, we did have the massive weakness advantage. Just seeing if we can hopefully rebound from this. And let's see what our opponent is actually going to go and grab out using his computer search. Again, if it's something... Oh, right, I can't actually see it, so I will be using the N. It looks like it happens to be the double colorless energy. So I'll temporarily be bringing out our Hydreigon into the field, and I'll probably be switching into one of our Pokemon. Okay, looks like our opponent is going to bring out his Manectric EX. I'm thinking the Lysander would actually be a better card for us to use as opposed to our as opposed to us using the N. So let's go and actually bring out our Hydreigon right now. But again, we do need to be able to attack. So just thinking, guys. I mean that Manectric EX would be able to perform the knockout on any of our Pokemon. So let's go and Lysander out that Mewtwo EX with the double colorless energy for now, and then we're going to go and retreat our Hydreigon and bring out the Sharpedo EX. Actually, sorry, I don't think I actually have enough energies. Yeah, I totally forgot that I actually got head ringered. So we will actually have to use our first attack instead. We actually can't use the Jagged Fang attack yet. So let's use the Hunt attack to bring out our opponent's benched Mewtwo EX. I did want to actually get rid of our opponent's double colorless energy. Probably should not have used the Lysander. Actually, a bit of a poor choice in my opinion. Now that I think about it, should have used the N instead. Um, and I did make a mistake. So our opponent is going to grab out the VS Seeker. Let's see what he's actually going to grab out. Could grab out an N, a Skyla. I'm assuming he's going to grab out a Skyla, and okay, he's actually going to grab out the Professor Juniper. If he happens to get the double colorless energy, a switch, a float stone, something like that, we are unfortunately going to win. I'm sorry, we are unfortunately going to lose. Hoping that that's not the actual case. Our Sharpedo EXs. Okay, so he's actually going to attach an energy to his Mewtwo EX. Okay, and we do happen to have another darkness energy, so let's go and actually attach that to our Sharpedo EX. The Muscle Band, not really useful right now, so let's go and end down our opponent's hand to a single card remaining. Okay, so let's go and discard our Colress and the Darkness Energy to grab out a bench Pokemon. I'm thinking we should actually grab out the a second Sharpedo EX for the time being. Let's go and lay him down into our bench. Let's go and use the Dark Impulse attack because we are going to be discarding an energy card attached to our Sharpedo EX, and use the Jagged Fang attack, hit that Mewtwo EX for 100 damage, and again, probably going to have to start attacking our opponent's Pokemon using our Darkrai EX, so I may just try and lure out our opponent's Seismitoad EX. Probably wasn't actually the best choice for our opponent to lay him down. Okay, looks like he did just realize that because I could absolutely lure him out by using our Hunt attack. Again, very very tight game right now. Okay, so we do have the enhanced hammer, so I mean that Mewtwo EX could potentially be dragged out. Hopefully we can get some of our hammers or something like that, guys. We may still be able to stand a chance. We have only 2 cards remaining left in our deck, so very very tight game right now. Again, not really sure how things are going to go from here on out. I could use the escape rope and then bring out this Mewtwo EX again. Just thinking what we should do, guys. I guess we're going to go and could use the Hunt attack to grab out our opponent's Mewtwo EX. He may be able to win though if he does happen to bring out his Manectric EX. I could also attack with our Darkrai EX potentially. So let's actually go and use the Hunt attack to bring out our opponent's Mewtwo EX. And hopefully our opponent doesn't have another energy or something like that. Because if he does retreat his Mewtwo EX into his Manectric EX, he will actually be able to win the game. And he has just laid down the Seismitoad EX, so he potentially doesn't actually have another energy card. I'm thinking, or maybe he's going to use a Juniper, a supporter type card, something like that. We're probably going to use the N on our turn, guys. I am worried that our opponent may have a useful card in his hand. But again, our opponent did say good game a bit earlier, but nonetheless, it looks like he actually is not able to win the game just yet. So I still do think that we do stand a bit of a chance. Our opponent has a mere prize card remaining. As long as we can actually prevent any of our Pokemon from actually getting knocked out, we will be able to win. Hopefully our opponent did not actually happen to grab onto an energy card. That's the one thing that I'm most worried about, or a switch or a float stone. Lots of ways that we can actually lose. And okay, thankfully it looks like he hasn't. So we are still standing a chance, guys. Wow. So I'm actually quite surprised. I will be using the N, of course. I mean, our opponent only has 2 cards remaining in his deck, so maybe we've actually discarded enough cards that our opponent is unable to win from this point out. So let's go and attach Darkness Energy to our Sharpedo EX for now. And I think I'm actually going to end, because if our opponent does have any more energy cards in his deck remaining, using the N is going to lower the probability that he will be able to draw onto those. So let's go and actually, no, sorry, can't use the Muscle Band anymore. So let's go and use the N and reduce the number of cards in our opponent's hand as well. Okay, so let's actually go use the Sharpedo EX and Hunt to bring out our opponent's Seismitoad EX. Now, from here on out, guys, I think that we can win if we do happen to retreat our Sharpedo EX and then use our Night Spear attack twice. We'll be hitting that Seismitoad EX for 90 damage and that Mewtwo EX, sorry, the bench Mewtwo EX for 30 damage, and if we can just get 2 attacks in, looks like we may just be able to win the game. So wow, what an incredibly tight game. Still not really sure how things are going to go from here on out. Our opponent has been getting rid of a lot of his cards. Just really hoping that he doesn't actually have any energy cards. Actually, from this point, it doesn't really matter if our opponent does have any more energy cards, because we did just lure out his Seismitoad EX. Again, it does have the massive 3-star retreat cost. So let's actually go and retreat our Sharpedo EX to bring out our Darkrai EX. And then we're gonna go and use the Night Spear attack to hit our opponent's Seismitoad EX for 90 damage, and our opponent's Mewtwo EX for another 30 damage. So I mean, our opponent did say good game, but I mean, this was a very good game. And I think that we have actually been able to win it. Julia Souza, you are going to be featured in this video though, and I will be posting it up on YouTube. So hopefully you are happy about that. And thank you very much for the compliment. And good game, my friend. So we are going to go on to the victory. Again, a very intense game, guys. You guys may actually really want to consider running that Shadow Circle. That Manectric EX almost completely crippled our deck. So let's go and hit for a final Night Spear and knock out our opponent's Seismitoad EX and that Mewtwo EX. And really hope that you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. And if you did, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.